Okay.
Okay, we're good.
You guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Brilliant. So this cycle, I've been working on the native mobile plugins. The idea is that we got a general search plugin which can target two different screens. One is a default screen and the other one is a search screen. Search screen require inherit source from the parent, which is a search screen. And we modify the URL by adding the content from the search. Yeah, so basically the way how it looked like on the UI builder, I'm not sure if you are able to see, because I got this thing over here. Okay, cool. So yeah, we got two targets. One target is a fallback, which is like a default screen. And then the other target is a search screen, and you can define the content of how you want to see your search and whatever is a fallback screen. And then the way how it looked like, let me show you on the simulators. So both iOS and Android got the those are fallback screens. So this is a home generally. And if I start typing here, it just fetch the screen from the from our SDK and populates it on the screen plugin. So this concept, yeah, when we clean up this, it's going to the fallback, and then we can go back to the we can go back to the main screen. And that's it. That's all the job I've done this this cycle.
And this is connected to any type of screen, so I can put in the landing page or in the connected screen, basically any type of general content screen with any kind of composition of components, right?
Yes, exactly. The only thing your DSP need to serve the data, which has to be connected with the screen you want to. So if you want a screen picker, your data need to be in the proper structure to display the screen picker.
Cool.
Very good. And I want to add that for one of their customers, G5, I'm already using this approach to build their test plugin. And I'm surprised that we didn't get this feature earlier. So thank you, Anna.
Funny thing, I don't know how to stop sharing now. I have a technical help, please. Oh, there we go. Stop share.
Yeah, so basically, Anna, this will be part of this is in the latest development SDKs on both iOS and Android?
Yes, both iOS and Android. This is latest SDKs. The screen plugin hasn't been released yet because I need to do a bit of additional work like styling and basically the Circle CI to upload the plugins, and that's it.
Got it.
Yeah, and they also will need some documentation to.
Yes, and of course documentation. Yes.
Good.
I wanted to say that.
Very nice job, and yeah, like Alex said, basically what Anna did is she created an API for a screen plugin to be able to target any kind of general content screen. So basically we expose our target screens API that basically allow any screen plugin now to be able to populate a sub-screen of a componentized.
Exactly. So the idea was behind it was that if you have a search, you can easily imagine that you might want to add some kind of filter there than you only looking in a live streams or news or whatever it is. So yeah.
I have one question. If I want to design the search section, what do I need to do?
So the default plugin will have a configuration to change the colors and fonts and icons. However, if you want to completely redesign it, you need to write your own plugin.
Sorry, one more question. So Anna, any cell style family, right? Cell style family approach like we have now?
It's absolutely supported. So whatever you want to use, you can just use it. You need to add it to your project. And if you want to use Rhine or Colorado, it just will be populated by the screen because you define it in a screen in a UI builder.
And what are additional applications of this? This sounds like we can use it in other ways, like a show info screen or something like a series to a show or something.
I believe it will be a massive change in many apps because it's a very powerful thing that you can actually populate the content, which is our general content, in a plugin.
Yeah, this would be great when we do the support handoff at some point to help people think through some of these other applications, because I think it can do, like you just said, it can do so much.
Exactly.
Great. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Francois, you want to continue with the takeover?
Yeah. Yeah, so you've seen already what Anna has been working on. When she says she's done only that in the cycle, that's not entirely true. She also helped out to on some other issues on Android TV and things like that. But it's a very good piece of work, and I think it's also a good it's a good example of the way we try to approach things, like to focus on enabling features and trying to implement things in a way that it brings new opportunity instead of just focusing on releasing a feature. We try to how we add enablement to the code to do things that even us wouldn't even think about. And I think this is a great example for that. This is not on the QuickBrick side, but the pattern of basically invoking a screen directly as its ID and injecting the data source is something that we can easily port to QuickBrick, and something that we'll probably try to do in the future. So that was great. Okay, I will show my screen very briefly, but this is interesting. Looks like I can't. Wait, desktop 2. Can you guys see the presentation or?
No.
Yeah, nice.
Just islands.
Nice island. That's it.
You see just the background. Okay, so it looks like I have a permissions issue, so I cannot share the content.
Catalinized.
Exactly, but it's not a big deal anyway, because I wasn't going to show most of the features. Just a few words that I wanted to say on my end. We started with a new organization this cycle with new teams, the frameworks teams and the UX team, with Anna, Pavel, John, David, Ray, Sherwin, and Slavo. And everyone's been doing amazing work this cycle. And I wanted all of them to show basically what they did. So let's carry on with the UI UX. Anna already showed you the search. 2 other things we had in our scope and we did. One was we had to finish the Click My Horse login plugin with QuickBrick, which is also interesting because in the process of doing so, we introduced several improvements to some of the APIs that we have, like the hooks and the text inputs. So, David, do we have something that we can show for Click My Horse?
We do. Is Pavel online? Did you want to talk about it, or do you want me to go straight in?
While you prepare the demo, I'm just going to say a few words basically of the 2 basic things that we introduced. One is we added in the corpus of components that we have in QuickBrick a truly cross-platform text input component that summons the native keyboard on the device. Provided this is not the best UX on TV to have to type something with the remote, but when you do, it's nice to have this out-of-the-box component, which is very easy to use, and that you can use once, and it will basically use the native keyboard on all the platforms that you're using it on: Android TV, tvOS, Samsung, and NLG and so on and so forth. So that's a great addition. And also we added a small addition to the hooks API on QuickBreak. So basically, all the features related to login, payments, authentication, and all these kind of things in QuickBreak, they're basically hooks, right? They can do whatever they want. The downside is that every time there is a hook that needs to run asynchronously, we have to present a spinner to wait for that hook to resolve before we can actually go to the target screen. So we thought about it with Pavel a bit, and we're gonna make sure that we got documented properly. But we found a way to expose a synchronous skip hook feature that basically let your own plugin keep track of, let's say, the login state or the authentication state or the payment state or something like that. And then when you have a screen transition, instead of having to go through the call and render an activity indicator or something, you can just tell QuickBreak to skip the hook for this transition, and then you have a seamless transition from one screen to another. Yeah, David?
Yeah, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
And if folks have got me in view, they should see the TV with a bit of a wobbly cam that I've got at the moment. I'll rest it on my knee. tvOS, fire up, clip my horse app, up comes the login screen and native keyboard, so you can type away. And one of the things about tvOS is that we're able to step through to the next field nice and automatically. In goes password, and I know there's a question about whether voice is supported on this. So if you have a very easy password like password, it's going to do it for you.
And don't have a Hebrew accent. It also helps a lot.
I won't go through the whole typing in thing. The login as well, probably cover on the screen view has got the app background in it as well, so it's nicely branded. I'll just nip across to the same app on Samsung. So up it loads. Same thing, branded login screen. On we go, click in, and we can call up the native keyboard, type away. Samsung doesn't automatically step through, sorry, I pressed the wrong button there, on the fields. It's just the way it behaves, but that's no issue. And again, I won't do the long, laborious login in there. So I didn't know, did you want to add anything on top of that, Pavel?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, for this plugin, basically, I think what's important is that, as opposed to what we have on Zap iOS and Zap Android, but like there's login and all these features, there are like specific type of plugins with specific APIs. We try to have a more open approach with QuickBreak, and what we want to do there is look into the bits and pieces that we've implemented for that plugin and basically extract the generic functions that can be reused in different contexts and then make them available as part of the QuickBreak frameworks to be cherry-picked by the plugin developers when they need to implement such features, right? So if they want to have the, I don't know, the status check, the login, the token check, and storing automatically the token in local storage and all that kind of stuff, we can add like utility functions to make this process faster and easier. And of course, we're also working on the guide and the documentation to do that, right?
Just worth to say that the Samsung, poor documentation from Samsung, very zero details really about how to handle the keyboard. So Pavel really had to dig deep into that one and got it working.
I had to learn Korean for that.
We are seeing some things on, or one thing on a different device, which is where, so anyway, there's a couple of bugs to look into. So it's that classic thing, different generations of Samsung TV. One shows a keyboard entry issue that we want to try to get to the bottom of.
Yeah.
I have a question. This text input is also available for the Android TV, and we can use the plugin on Android TV as well, right?
Yes, it's the same. Basically, what we do is that we created that component on tvOS and Android TV. We use the built-in React Native component, which works with the native keyboard. And when we're on Samsung, we are using the custom implementation that Pavel did, where we had to jump through hoops to basically get to properly handle the show, the handling of the native keyboard and everything like that.
And what happens on LG? Have we tested? Have we tried? We know?
I don't think we've tried this plugin on LG just yet, but I think Sherwin tried that a little while ago. I think LG is compliant with the text input. The React Native text input shows the native keyboard on LG.
Automatically when you click on any input.
Yeah.
But I haven't tested this app, so
I'll give it a go afterwards.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Next thing, we have a lot to show, so let's try to carry on a bit quickly. Another thing that is very exciting, very interesting. So we've been doing the first iteration of the React Native cell with the designs by John. And without further ado, I'm going to let Pavel show it.
Yeah, let me share the screen. Catalina, wait a second. I need to grant the permissions. Sorry for that.
We need to disconnect and reconnect. We'll wait.
While Pavel is doing that, maybe we can carry on with other things that we worked on. So on the framework side of things, basically, what we've been working on is audio content on the TV apps. So now our default player can also handle audio content. So if you send audio content to the default QuickBreak player, instead of having like, oh, it's done. Okay.
Yep.
So I'll carry on later with the audio. Go ahead, Pavel.
All right. So yeah, last couple of days we had some time to work on a master cell. So we decided to give it a go and see how far we can go basically with the configuration. So we decided to start with the grid component. And we're going to break data here and populate it with default data and other configurations. So that's where we end up. So we created the QuickBreak master cell cell style component, new plugin, and we added the configuration for all the elements you can see here, like log, that's the content badge, there is an image and free texts, as well as a text field with the padding, etc. So yeah, we added it here so we can upload the images we want. We can choose the position of the badges. With the image as well, we can set the gutters, colors, background colors, like the default placeholders. We have global spacing, some global cell configuration. Runtime label, it's not implemented yet, but it's not a hard thing to do. And the free text labels with the standard, CSS configuration and text alignment. And let's see how it works. Let me move this. So that's the Samsung app running on web with the cell style component, which is taking the entire configuration from Zap and rendering itself. So let's change something and see how it's changing. So let's maybe move the content badge to the bottom left and locked badge to the, let's say, top right. Right. Let's change the image radius to, let's say, 20. What else we can do? Corner radius for entire cell. Let's do it 20, so it's aligned. And maybe let's change some color, background color. So let's use maybe green like this. And when it's focused, let's use orange or yellow, yellowish. Okay, let's save it. Now I need to reload the data on the QuickBreak. Let's refresh it. And here we go. You can see the badge moved from center to the bottom. This one moved to right, and the colors had changed. That's how it looks comparing to what we had at the beginning. So it's just 1.5 days of work, and it's pretty powerful already. Obviously, it's very early iteration, so there is no checks for empty data, etc. But yeah, we're able to go quite far in 1.5 days. That's it.
Yes, like as Pavel was saying, even though we had some issues with Click My Horse, but we still wanted to give this a go. And basically what we realized here is that most of the limitation we have is actually on the configuration itself, because then the logic of like displaying the elements and everything with the existing code that we have on QuickBooks side, it's actually fairly easy to implement it. So this is something that we'll try to push also in the next cycles and in the next iteration to try to advance this further and provide even more advanced configuration for tweaking these things and work on other elements like that. But we still wanted to show this plugin, which we can make available in an upcoming rollout. In this version, I believe it already has a lot of value. And on top of this, we want to carry on providing more features, more options for configuration, handle. John's has thousands of ideas which have not been implemented in this version yet, and we really want to go there because it will really make a very awesome tool to create any sales styles we want on any QuickBooks platform that we want. This thing that you've seen right now, it's already built in to work on all the platforms, including on mobile, right? We have to add some configuration to provide configurations and values for different platforms, because of course when you want to configure your cell on a TV platform or on a mobile platform, you want different values. But once we have those capabilities available in the configuration in the CMS, you can very easily these benefits on the platform, on all the platforms, including mobile.
I have a short question. We don't have a lot of time, but basically this is a plugin. So
it's a self-style plugin.
Yeah, but did we do any changes in the SDK? So for example, if tomorrow we launched Olympic Channel, will they be able to add this plugin and use it in their current SDK?
Yes.
Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's continue because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, sorry. So on the frameworks teams, 3 main topics. Audio content, so as I said, so we made our apps compatible with audio content. Let's try to see what's the quickest route to show this. David, do you have something ready to show? Maybe it would be faster.
Yeah, I don't want to steal Slavo's show, so I can show the movie from this end.
Yeah, let's show the movie quickly because we're like completely taking all the time in the meeting. So, but to be fair, we did a lot of things in this cycle. So
yeah, we'll do less next one, I promise.
Right.
Right.
So what?
We will increase the time of the demo. It's another option.
Yeah. Also. So this is another plugin that works on multiple platforms, and when there is content that is audio, basically instead of leaving like a black background, we're showing this layout here, where we can pull data from the audio stream itself, and all these assets can also be configured, like the background image. We can also add a channel logo if we want. We can change, of course, the asset of the current show and this kind of things. And the player knows how to process this thing. So we can play audio and it works. And and basically, I think Slavo was telling me yesterday that they tried with Anton to run it on iOS, and it's working as well, from what I heard.
Yes. It's on a mobile, it's working. The only thing we need to tweak the styles and adopt the styles.
Tweak the styles, yeah.
Yes, and everything should be fine.
Yeah.
And they're on the simulator, you see it running on tvOS.
Yeah.
Yes, this is tvOS.
Yeah. Same thing, same layout, and the video plays and everything like that, right? So Another very nice feature.
And this is baked. This is part of our regular player, right?
This is part of our standard default player. Yes.
So it knows to recognize audio content, and based on the audio, it selects if to present the video or this content, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Francois, and I like this tradition with the cats.
Yeah, these are Slavos placeholders, so we see cats a lot in Quick Break. All right. One last thing, I don't know if we have time. We also have the Play Next feature we wanted to show.
Go for it.
Sherwin, maybe you can show it on the
I can show it
on the TV.
So let me bring up. Probably see my face right now, right?
You need to share. I'm not sure that you can share from the phone. I think you can.
I can take my.
Yeah, you can change the camera and yeah, record the TV basically.
We're gonna
countdown started,
and then we're gonna move to the other meeting.
Yeah, sorry about that. While Sherwin is showing it, let me explain how we did it. So same story as search. We didn't want to implement just a plain Next plugin. What we added is a new type of plugin called Player Overlay, right? And when it is defined, then basically we're looking for some data in the item itself to trigger that overlay. And if they exist, we present the overlay on top of the player, right? So one of these types of overlay allows us to show this badge on the bottom right corner of the screen. And when the countdown ends, basically, it automatically switches to a next video, which is provided by a data source inside the initial item. So you can configure also everything there. You can configure the styling of the component. You can configure when you want the trigger, the overlay to be triggered. And that's it. And this is a very powerful feature that could be used for many things. The data source that we're using right now as an experiment is just turning like a fine next item, but we could imagine that we have DSP that could feature some recognition engine that could basically, based on the item that was being played, will try to recommend something else to play and return like the next URL for that, and so on and so forth. So also a very nice and very powerful feature there, right?
Part of it was introducing a new type of plugin, which is
called Player Overlay. Yeah, exactly.
We have now the ability to put another layer on the player that is completely detached from the player, right?
Yes, exactly. So we're also going to provide the documentation on how this can be used, and yeah, this, like the search, this new type of plugin can be used also for a lot of different things. I think now we can move on to platforms, and Anton, maybe you can, as a transition, talk a bit about what it's been doing on iOS mobile, because that was also another part of what we did. Quick Break is now working properly on iOS mobile. On Android, we still have a few things to check on the player, but we're really, really close. So it means that starting from next year, we will definitely have Quick Break apps available on all the TV platforms, plus iOS and Android mobile.
Okay, let me share my screen.
Sorry, has Sherwin not been able to make the link there with his camera?
Sorry?
I thought you were going to show the TV screen, Sherwin.
He showed it already.
He showed it while I was talking.
I missed it.
Yeah.
To come up the video.
It's recorded, so let's hope that it recorded it.
I only ever saw you talking.
Oh, yeah, because I was talking, so the video was focused on me and not on Sherwin.
Yeah.
So,
so maybe it was not recorded. So we will send the record. You will send the video after.
We'll send a record and a demo for that. If I'm just allowed one last word, I just want to say congrats again to all the teams, everyone, because everyone pulled an extraordinary work for the last cycle. Because on top of all this, we also fixed a lot of bugs, worked on lots of improvements on the Quick Break framework itself, consolidating many things, the player, the menu, lots of things. So big congrats to everyone. Everyone's been doing an amazing job for this cycle. Yep. And we have very good outlooks for the next cycle as well. So that's we're really happy with that.
Okay, so I have permission, so I can show.
Good. So Anton, you will present, and then once we will be shut down, I will post the next meeting in the Slack, and he will join there as well, because we're gonna be shut down in 6 minutes.
Okay, I hope it will be enough. So this sprint, I'm trying to implement iOS for QuickBrick. So let me show current Zap iOS structure of core plugins. This is what we have. And add a new layer, it will be a bit pain and application will be huge. So solution was to take current Zap tvOS project and try to extend it to use iOS. So what I have at the end, we call it Zap Apple, and you can look on Zap iOS current core that is red, that was removed, that I don't use anymore, and on right side that I'm using now. So if I'm going to structure, let me explain. We have two targets, iOS and tvOS, in one repository. Under it, we have Apple general code as it relevant both for iOS and tvOS projects. It's at that moment, it's 98% general code without any difference. Then I have iOS code and tvOS code that may be relevant only for each platform that doesn't support, for example, tvOS cannot support some features from iOS and opposite. And difference, I have assets, info list, that means configuration of a project, and entitlements. So this a difference between two projects. Rest at that moment is fully same, so I don't need to differentiate these two platforms. That is good. Then we have application structure. We have a splash screen that we load and present in some video, and UI layer plugin. So generally, like what we discussed on last company meeting, we decided to make a QuickBrick as a UI component. So what I tried to implement, a pluggable system for a QuickBrick. So theoretically, if tomorrow we want, will be, I don't know, React Native 2 or Swift UI, we want to implement it, we can use the same structure without any changes and just add a new layer of UI that will be implemented on different platforms and different ways. So benefits of it. So first, like I already told, build platform on Zap on both on same two platforms we can build from same place. Most code is the same, difference only specific stuff. Plugins, if supported for both platforms, can be implemented like one time. Again, what I just explained, pluggable UI plugin system. So just to have a protocol. So any UI plugin must confirm a protocol, and after initialization, we will add it on the top of application, of a container of application, and it can be used. Application size, because what I did, I removed a lot of stuff, will be reduced. Obviously, application start time will be reduced because we don't have any things that I don't need anymore, like legacy code. Legacy code not more included. All core plugins, the idea that I'm trying to implement now, so all core plugins and all core frameworks that we will use will be open source. So it means for external developers, we may not need anymore to create this closed SDK that takes extra layer of work. So external developer can just take this application and build it and work with it like as working Applicaster developers. And what I'm trying to do now, core SDK, all core stuff, I'm trying to put in one place. So in this case, it will reduce some timing for updates like Swift 5.0 to Swift 5.1. All plugins exist in one place. We just need to change it one time, not like going one by one as we're doing it now. So with this structure, we speak with Alex Good, and we're trying to update a bit current Zap iOS project. So what we're trying to remove all plugins SDKs that you can see red, and to reduce, again, load an application and make size smaller. Android. So we discussed with Android guys, Alex and Alex. So between these weeks, they will try to make some POC based on structures what I just showed you. Plus, they have some extra ideas to make it better.
Anton, we have less than a minute.
Yeah,
so
it's enough.
Go to the...
Let me publish the second meeting and we meet there.
Okay.
I can use the same link, you're sure? Okay, so let's cancel. Let's end the meeting and reconnect to the same one.
Right.
Bye bye.